You just go and pick up the stick. How hard can this be? I'm on my way to get the stick. Well, hurry up, mate. I'm kinda dying in here. I'm on my way to get the stick. Hey, this looks fun. I think I'll give it a try. Yay! I'm on my way to get the stick. Well, hurry up, mate. I'm kinda dying in here. You just go and pick up the stick. How hard can this be? Hey everybody, this is a grumpy old guy gaming. Thank you for coming in and watching yet another edition of the Weekend Warrior. The vast majority of today's episode will be featuring the Hongik University Station server, hosted by Dow, so a quick thank you to them for that. This was going to be a nice simple upload. I kind of have this thing with trying to win Christmas, and I know that's the most terrible way to look at it, but it's one of the few overly competitive moments I have in life, so I'm gonna stick with it. I always try to find a little something extra special, and it doesn't have to be anything overly gaudy or expensive. Goodness knows I'm a simple person and I'm not loaded with cash. So this year, since Fragment has been such a big part of my year and really some of the most fun the missus and I have had playing together, when Dow put up the spreadsheet on items that could be acquired in Hongik, the one that instantly stood out to me was BT's wand. The wife's first character was a Wave Master, and I thought this would be a pretty solid addition for her character. So I went out of my way to farm this wand for her, BT's staff, to just as a little extra Merry Christmas, a little surprise gift in game, if you will. And it ended up taking the whole week. I don't even have all of the footage. I didn't start recording the first couple times because I thought I'd run this maybe a half dozen times and it would fall, maybe a dozen. It took 5 days on and off. I didn't really have all day every day to dedicate to it, and it would have probably dropped quicker if I had a couple solid hours to play. As you could see, we're running, I think at this point it was level 56 or 57 Blade Master, going up against room after room of Dark Horses. You'll notice I didn't hit the Fairy's Orb out in the field, and I'm certainly not hitting it here in the dungeon, because it's just the corridor of death to the stairs to the next level. Just spamming my Earth attack because it's multi-target hit, and then cleaning up the rest when the numbers are whittled down. Picking up some summon fires here. Nice thing about this dungeon is it pays exceptionally well. The loot more than covers the consumables you will be chewing through, and oh, believe me, you will be chewing through them. The Dark Horses, there are 4 of them, so to me they always kind of stood out as, you know, the Horsemen of the Apocalypse in my mind, because I just feel the need to add too much of a story to everything. But they're gonna put a hurting on me. This is where having some things like perhaps some bloods to up my magic defense, or have something for darkness defense, would have probably come in handy. But I wasn't prepping that far in advance because, like I said, this wasn't going to be a crazy long adventure. Lo and behold, it became a crazy long adventure. Hitting pretty solid damage on these guys, 519, but those spells are, you know, rocking me. 2 hits a pop, and when they hit, they're hitting upwards of like getting near 150 damage on some of those hits, a little over. See, that health bar just go to nothing while they're all there if 2 or 3 of them cast. I don't think there was ever a point where all 4 cast on me at any run. But if they would have, that would have been endgame, you know. And I'm pretty sure I'm well over the level of this dungeon. I don't think it was overly high, but it's definitely one you don't, like me, want to solo. Now if you do solo, a word to the wise, you gotta hit front side of that portal. If you do it, you're able to hit all 4 of the Dark Horses clean out of the gate, and that stuns them for a second while the attack animation goes. If you haven't noticed, I've been slightly overrunning my mark this entire floor. And that's been hurting me, because I'm hitting 2, but the other 2 are circling around, getting out of range, and that's really causing me some headache later on. Moving to the next room here, once again 4 Dark Horse, and I overshoot my mark again, and you could see I lucked out there. The one missed me, but it had a real clear sword strike while I was recovering from the animation. And just going through, doing our best, drops me down to 380 hit points and then 312 on a sword strike before I'm able to hit that potion. Like I said, it does pay exceptionally well. Almost all of these chests at the end had summoned fires, and that gave me more than enough gold after a couple of these runs to switch to the healing elixirs that are found in the root towns that are net slum. Finished the first floor there, going to the second. Picking up a couple symbols here before moving into the next. Here I hit my mark a bit better. You see I got all 4 in a nice clean shot there. And I've got all of my attack buffs up. Like, there's a pretty good chance of me hitting all 4 when I make that lunging strike, and as you can see there, when it happens, it's a thing of beauty. You end up dropping all 4 in a row there. I'm only picking up 1 experience apiece, so theoretically, the biggest challenge in this is the fact that they're all spawning simultaneously. If you look at how the rooms are set up, they're all double portal rooms, so you're getting 2 then 2. Next room here, I didn't quite get in the right spot. I was a little off to the left, and I ended up missing the one I was in range of on the right, so it was effectively just a terrible attack. Basically a botch out of the gates there. Now one thing I will say is, despite all the challenge and everything, it is a very smooth running dungeon. Again, there's not much to explore. These, I believe, were specifically designed for hunting the items. They're very straightforward. They're very easy to access. So it's only been about, coming up on 8 minutes into this dungeon here. A little longer on the video because of my silly intro, but it's not very time consuming. It's just resource intense and very draining. You gotta pay attention to every little thing, and you definitely don't want to get caught spamming the attack button when you need that potion. Disarm this chest here, pick up an Imp's leg mail. Bone armor out of that chest, and a demon cloak in that one, so they proved me wrong on the summon fires, but still got some equipment that'll sell for quite a few gold pieces back in town. We're working our way through here. Midway through the second floor. I would say we're on the better half of the second floor. There I got in a bit of trouble. I tried for one more attack, didn't quite have the SP, and honestly that may have saved my life because I got rocked by spells there. So rather than getting through the whole attack animation, I was able to just get back and pop a potion. Do believe I have the healing elixirs by this point, so this would have probably been the second or third day I was running. There I tried to jump him right out of the portal and I hit it a second too soon. Fortunately I was on my mark and I got all 4 of them. Hit him each of the first 2 times, replenish my hit points and skill points, attack number 3 is a 4 for 4 job. And then we get rocked on our way up for the final attack. They still take us below half, but we get that beautiful little scene where all 4 dark horses fall simultaneously. Pick up the Fool out of a chest that drops, and by the door we pick up the Lovers and the Moon. Not the highest paying room, but we'll take it. A win is a win. Here we get the Lovers and the Moon out of those chests as well. So we pick up some tarot-inspired scrolls heading into the 3rd floor here. We pick up Afghans out of the 1st symbol and Aptorma out of the 2nd. Gonna go ahead and replenish my speed boost. And the 3 bloods I have, raising my physical attack, defense, and accuracy respectively. And now it's time for more dark horses. Not sure whether it's a bonus from the magic up or from the water element up, but we're now hitting for a little extra damage. We're hitting for 545 on those. So you could see I was getting all excited myself there. I thought we had all 4, and then we missed 2 of the dark horses in the final attack. The normal attacks aren't really a negative for me though, because I have that chance for a skill drain, and any chance I have not to pop, I think I'm still using Mage's Souls in this run, but I've since upgraded to Artisan Souls. Any chance I have to not pop those consumables, that's money kept in the pocket, and a chance to maybe upgrade equipment if needed, or a chance to help out elsewhere with that cash. So we're going to pick up a couple summon fires here and move into the next room. There we get the all clear, the all dungeon portals open, which means all we have to do is survive, and nothing left but looting the treasure afterwards. See the little glowing, sort of slow moving twister of blocks at the end there. That is a virus crystal. It's going to hold a random virus core in it. Nice way to stock up in case you end up running into corrupted areas. So we get an Artisan Soul, pair of them there, and a Ninja Anklet out of the chest before picking up a Virus Core J. That ends the fun and activities portion of this dungeon run. Now we just go to the statue room where we pick up a Mage Spear, yellow candy and a light cross. That is pretty much the de facto run there. Let's take a pause here real quick, take a look at the Mage Spear, because I picked up about 30 of these. It's a level 22 long arm weapon. It has Spirit Drain. So in itself, a really nice weapon. 26 attack, 10 accuracy. Gives you a solid +3 over your elemental skills. Gives you triple doom and Rue Wipe, so I guess it's water attuned? I didn't really use it. I actually ended up selling them all, because, you know, healing elixirs get a bit expensive after a time. Now, obviously, I'm not going to sit here and play through every single playthrough that I recorded, but I did want to get a complete one in here to start just to show you. We did end up getting some nice items out of this, so it wasn't a complaint by any means, and I like running the Castle Walls dungeons, especially with this little checkerboard floor here. Always thought that was kind of a cool thing. I just was not expecting this to be this big a deal. Bit of a humble brag, I ended up getting 2 drops in the process of farming, and in about the week I was farming for this. I ended up getting Bear's Sword the second try I ran the dungeon. And I picked up a Guild Crest. Basically just running that dungeon for some extra experience for my Wave Master, because he was all decked out in fire stuff. But 4 runs and I picked up a Guild Crest, which was ridiculous. Wasn't even really looking for one, but came up with an idea for one. Here we are going into the second run, and like I said, I'm not going to sit here and go through every single part of the run. We'll hit this room here, and then we'll skip ahead a bit, go to another room, and, you know, just kind of show you some of the things we're doing here. It's just turn after turn. I actually remember this run in particular because for whatever reason my game was just crazy amount of lag. I'm not sure. I think maybe my son was using his Switch online and it was just drawing. I don't really know what would cause all this slowdown, but this got really choppy on this run. I was not happy at all between the second and third runs of this particular video. I was getting down around, 45, 50 frames a second trying to play. And it's in part because I was worried about the quality of the upload, because by this point I was pretty dead set on making a little journal as a Weekend Warrior update, sort of showing off what we're doing here in the process of farming for this item, but also because it's really tough to time those spells, and if you got some lag, the difference between hitting that potion in time and dying is just too small. I do remember looking for a couple people to play with at this time and nobody was really there, so it was one of those times where I was just soloing because that's what I had to do. Very happy to have this earth element boost. I could tell you very directly that's where this little damage boost is coming from, and again, 545 when it hits. That's no small amount of damage, especially for my character at the level they're at. Finish off the last horseman in that room there, and then we're going to jump ahead a little bit here through the door. So we're all the way down to the third floor now, and this is probably as bad as I remember the lag getting. You could just see everything's going in slow motion. Sort of sweating bullets at this point. Not externally, but in my mind everything is so tense, so on edge, because I'm worried about the lag throwing me off. Happy to take two down, and I actually moved to the side. There's a bit of a calculated risk. I thought if I got to the side there I would cut down the camera angle and the computer might just process the screen better since there were less details to, project. Get a Virus Core J on that one. Then we'll go ahead and open the chest. What a shock, it's a Mage Spear, and a Light Cross, and a yellow candy. Still not the worst thing. So we'll back out and try her one more time. This is run number 3 now in this particular video. Still having the lag issues a little bit. This is where it actually mysteriously let up. Really don't know where it came from or where it went. I know it sounds like I'm doing a rough misinterpretation of Cotton Eye Joe here. I swear to you I'm sick enough of that song that joke was not intentional, but still got acknowledged. Pick up a bone armor out of one chest, a fireball storm in the other, and a demon cloak before moving on. So this is the point where I could tell you, just looking at the little timestamps I wrote down for myself for the recording, where I was getting a bit drained. Not really focusing as much as I should. Sort of getting sloppy on my button presses. Started playing a little overly cautious, and I know that because I'm looking at the times, and I'm dropping off. The first 2 run-throughs, I was just about 12-13 minutes. In fact, 12.5 is right on the spot. I finished those first 2 runs about 25 minutes dead on. This one's a little slower. It came in a little over 13. So we'll probably skip ahead here, rather than make you all fine people wait through the entire floor. And here we are in the third floor. As you can see, I've got Rick Geem, the SP regenerator up, and that's going to help me out quite a bit here. It doesn't seem like it's going to do all that much, but every little bit to sort of nudge you closer to that next combo. 50 skill points a pop, and I'm at 181, so it really doesn't take much more than a couple seconds of that extra regeneration, even at 3 points, to get me to be able to hit a fourth attack like that. And if they all hit, that's technically all I would need to take these guys down. Again, I don't think I'm ever that lucky in any of these runs, otherwise I would have probably showed it, played some royalty-free music in the background, celebrated a bit. But we're not going to look anywhere near that accomplished. Here's our all dungeon portals open for the third run. And again, we're at 55 SP after 3 of those. Just that little bit helped us in a pretty dire situation, because they all got on a casting mindset there, and the health dropped like a stone. Pick up Flame Blast there. Here's a Ninja Anklet, and our Virus Core this time is an E. So we'll once again go to the chest, and once again pick up a Mage Spear, a Light Cross, and a Yellow Candy. Start seeing that in your sleep after a while. Hit yet another Sprite Ocarina, go back to the top, and then back down. Now at this point, I was nearing about the 40-minute mark of my playthrough, which doesn't sound like a lot of time. But it's 40 minutes of seeing the same room over and over again, and this is where I gotta hand it to guys like Snow and Spooky, and Edge, Desert Retro, and Midnight, and all of them. Anybody who has ever farmed an item in dungeons like this, hats off to you for making it an hour. I tried my damnedest. It just gets so monotonous. Just straight room after straight room. So this run was a little bit special for me. Certainly holds a place in my heart. You can see a little bit of the lag coming back, but still nothing near as terrible as I was facing. Again, just hitting those earth slashes for all they're worth. Chucking potions when I can, elixirs and mage's souls, just almost treating them like candy. But it's a video game, so I suppose if ever there was a time to do it, this was it. Finish off those dark horses there. And then we'll loot these chests and skip ahead a bit to show you why this was such a special, just such a special run. Here we come up against 4 dark horses again. Who saw that coming, right? And we've got an earth element buff, so we've got crazy amounts of damage here. But I'm sitting here trying to stretch out the damage for all I can, not really being as careful as I should. Get these guys down, but I'm getting a little reckless with my attacks. Pick up the moon and the lovers, so I know I'm getting near the end of this floor here, because I find when the payouts are waning, you're probably nearer the end. Come up on the next portal here, take a moment to adjust myself to the right spot, hit for all 545, and then my health is super low. This is the point I grab a potion, and then they all cast, really sort of getting taken to task, don't finish the job in time, so they regenerate a whole bunch of health, and before I could recover, the casting, it just gets to me. end up crapping out with one left. There's the minus 1,000 and a level down, and I know what you're thinking at this point. It's a shame that I lost that level, and it really was. If you see any of my other uploads, you know I'm no stranger to dying in this game, and certainly not afraid to take the L when I get it. But I ended up losing another level in the process of trying to get this one back in a normal dungeon, and I just sort of threw my hands up, hit the escape button, and exited the improper way. So I will admit to a little bit of poor gamesmanship there on this one. That said, that's gonna about do it for this playthrough. By all stretches of the imagination, this is the longest one I captured. This is the point where, like I said, I called this session pretty much done and over with. But it would not be the last run I had at this dungeon. Gonna rejoin here as we are entering the dungeon. Sorry about that, forgot to cut to the full screen. Good thing I was in a loading screen there at a time. So I decided, since I had so much luck with the guild crest, to switch over to my Wave Master. Now I'm hovering around level, I want to say 38, 39 at this point. I may be just hitting level 40. Found that Vulcan worked really well on the Miasma Wyverns in the Guildcrest dungeon, and one of the reasons it works so well on them is it's an elemental hit, their water element. I didn't really have anything thunder element on me, at least nothing that was going to do summon level damage against these dark horses. There I do have a Jirai ROM. It's only a 20 SP spell though, so I'm not looking at that as my primary source of damage. We get through that battle, but you could see very resource intensive, very time consuming, especially when I like a Yutz sorta hit the Vulcan and only hit one of the horsemen. The thing about Vulcan is it's gonna tie up everything you're hitting and everything trying to run directly behind what you're hitting. So as a Wave Master, the summons and the tornado spells can buy you a little bit of time, just sort of stunning your enemies in place while you're casting. Unfortunately, if you miss one, that means the other three are free to just run around the rest of the corridor, and then they start slicing you up to bits. Stops being dot hack fragment and starts being dot hacking up my Wave Master. Let's just up the dumb joke count to 2 there and finish off these horsemen. Couple Jirai ROMs. Do get through. And again, we're picking up nice experience, picking up good items. But if ever there was a reason to go back and buy the elemental scrolls from the magic shop, if you're looking at running a dungeon like this and you know you don't have those elemental hits for the monster, go back and buy them. Word to the wise there. They are your friends. Here Vulcan's working very much to my advantage. I'm hitting the dark horses and they're stuck in place. They can't get to me. All they could do is cast, and my magic defense obviously higher on a Wave Master than it is a Blade Master. Picking up 17 experience a pop off these guys, so you'd have to think we're going to level by the end of this dungeon. Pick up some Greaves there. Cast a Foul Rep because it's there. The healing potion is more expensive than the Mage's Soul. Again, I should have switched to Artisan Soul beforehand. If I didn't before this dungeon, I sure did shortly after. Sometimes it's tough to talk yourself into those more expensive potions, because you don't really get that traditional, value for your money deal where it's a more expensive item but it breaks down to a more economical one. But really where you save is the time sink. You don't have to replenish as readily, you're able to go deeper in dungeons, and you're not sitting there hitting the buttons 3-4 times to fill the gauge back up. Saw a nice elemental hit there, and if an elemental hit was guaranteed out of the gate, Jiraiya would definitely be the way you want to go here. At least get 2 or 3 of them, and if the one you target gets an elemental hit, they're probably going down, if not close. That said, I was focused on Vulcan, because Vulcan could do that when they're all spread across the corridor, just hit all 4 of them, and I'm safe from those melee attacks. As long as I could see the attacks coming at me in way of the castings, I'm feeling fine. Very confident in my chances of success, but you could tell it's not as smooth and it's not as intuitive. Perhaps that's because I don't run my Wave Master a whole bunch. Sort of took an intentional break from playing Dionysius super heavy after the Learning to Die Less series. Unfortunately, now I've gotten in this thing where the Wave Master has been my farming character, and then I've been leveling the Blade Master up to get ready for, well, I'll cover that more in the next video I do for Fragment. That was another video that was due out this past week as far as I was concerned, but this week was just sort of a kick to the jollies with combat boots, so I wound up falling behind on a couple things. Do apologize for that. One thing I'll also apologize for while I'm here are all of these wonky camera angles. I am just, once again, not hitting the mark I needed to hit, and it's more a matter of evading these dark horses than it is getting a good capture. Right now we are looking through the insides of our Wave Masters. We are just finishing this off. Nice little blue transparency looking through his gut there. Finish it off, heal up for good measure, because you want to be at full health when you open a treasure chest. That's how it works, right? Second floor, and it's already feeling like an eternity. Especially when you go for Vulcan and it misses. Yeah, I did see there I'm on the Artisan Soul, at least. Do end up finishing here, and I'm not gonna lie, I know it's not hitting me as hard. Those spells they're dropping on me, just dropping skulls from the ceiling. But, all the same, after the fate my Blade Master had succumbed to and almost had to deal with, I'm a little wary anytime multiple start casting. One thing I got really good at, because it's my casting shortcut for all 3 of my characters, and it's my summon shortcut for my Wave Master, it's where I put my most skill point intensive spell. I got really good at hitting L2 and X in combination. Those 2 buttons are practically synced up on my controller, and it's a cheaper controller, so it wouldn't surprise me if something, you know, wonky broke in there and a piece of plastic somehow got wedged to the point where it activated both buttons simultaneously. Obviously exaggerating here a bit, but it sort of felt that way. Like nothing else on the controller quite feels as natural as L2 and X. That's a little weird, but that's what farming did for me. Again, hitting for awesome damage when we hit. We had back-to-back 684s there. I mean, their spells are still doing a good amount to me. Whereas before it was like 110 to 150, now it's like 100 to 120. You don't have to worry about that big heavy drop. And one nice thing about creating the big giant boy as a Wave Master, I don't have the most, you know, endless pool of skill points available, but I'm kind of beefy. I can take a hit. So I'm basically the one-man tank mage in this battle. Do get through there as we progress through this second floor. Pick up the moon and the levers. Pretty standard tandem for those chests. Moving again, and once again, all of those skill points spent, that's like 50 for the Vulcan. Not a small amount for me. To only hit one of the dark horses was a little deflating. Here we're just trying to find a way where we could hit 3. We do get all 4 there, but it's already too late. They're within melee range, and I've got to try escaping again. Getting a bit of a lock there, and you could see we're a good distance away, but those attack animations have already fired off. So we're once again trying to line them up, and by the time we get them in a good spot, they're in melee again. So this turns into an interesting little game of tag before we finally get a Vulcan to stun them in place. And then they start dropping like flies. Must have leveled up at some point, because we're now getting 15 experience a pop. Yeah, definitely did. I see the SP pool bumped up to 175. Looks like our speed boost wore off. Our bloods will do the same here, but they brought us to the treasure chests here at the end of the second floor, and that's what counts. Also would like to point out this is the first time my Wave Master has appeared on a Weekend Warrior. My long arms made a couple of appearances in intros. Still have yet to actually play my long arm for Weekend Warrior. May start doing that now that the Blade Master's up. I want to say I'm close to level 60 at this point. I want to say level 58. Once again, doing some dark horses here. Trying the Jirai ROM, and yeah, even with the elemental hit, it's not all the damage you're hoping for, and the last thing you want is to spend that mana and that time, let them hit you in return and not get them off the board. So I guess that pretty definitively says, even when you're trying to be more economical with your skill points, that a high power spell like Vulcan is probably the better alternative, as opposed to a lesser skill point tornado spell in this instance. I find for general gameplay, having one of those ROM tornadoes as a Wave Master is vital, because it allows you to get your hits in nice and quick, support the party, and then you can go back to healing and let your tanks finish the job. But in this instance, I'd have been better served just spamming Vulcan. Hey, you live, you learn. Certainly part of the reason I do these videos. Another part is because you guys are awesome, and I like making videos for you. That's all the sentimentality you're getting out of me this week. Yet another battle over. Not gonna lie, I'm a little worried because I don't recall running this dungeon multiple times with my Wave Master. This must have been one of those cases where I was sort of doing something else, or else, yeah, I must have done it twice from the looks of it. So we got the all clear here, and there's still plenty of time left. I remember running it once. I must have gone in and tried it a second time. Spoiler, it wasn't successful. But again, it was good experience, and there was little reason to turn it down, you know? Go back, kill that dark horse. And the final one finally falls. Don't think I said finally enough times there. Pick up a Summon Fire, the Fool, and a Virus Core D. Time to go to the chest, and if you thought we were going to pick up a Mage Spear, followed by a light cross, and then finishing with a yellow candy, go ahead and give yourself 5 bonus points for paying attention to the theme of this here video. I'm going to sprite Ocarina out here, and then, yeah, apparently at this point I was messing with my settings a bit. Okay, now I remember. I had run it, and I think I had paused the capture to go check something out. So we're resuming here already in the first floor. I'd gone back and I had bought some scrolls, that's right. I had bought some of the cheaper scrolls in Netslum because they're all summons. But they're all ridiculously expensive too. As you could see, they were paying dividends, and they were allowing me to just clean up with an Earth Element Tornado that was a bit more powerful, but twice as skill point intensive. Disarm that trap there. Pick up a Stone Solar. I think I upgraded some of my gear too, which is why I'm on that. I'm sorry, I said Earth Element. It's a Wood Element Tornado, not Earth. So I'm starting off with the summon, and that is just a stupid amount of damage it's doing. Elemental hits are firing off for just over 3,000, and normal hits are hitting for 700. And then just cleaning up where I can on the wood tornadoes. Finish up, cast my healing spell. I think that my thought process, a grumpy old guy with bad grammar, everybody. My thought process here was that if I bought the scrolls, I would make the money up in consumables. Didn't quite work out that way. Gonna skip ahead here to the end of this floor. You know, once I actually get through the door, so the transition's a little smoother than my commentary through the transition. Picking up here again through the 3rd floor of the dungeon, and you know, only hit the 1 there, but we hit it for 1165, so we know it's feeling what we just did. And just spamming these scrolls like crazy. I believe that's Lancior, the Thunder Element one. I think that's how it's said. Finished the battle up smoothly enough. Leveled up again at some point through there. Picked up a Jitachi there and a Summon Fire before grabbing a Virus Core B and going back into the room for yet another treasure. This time once again, the old trifecta, Mage Spear, Light Cross, Yellow Candy. And that's where I had called it for this run. Now, we had done just about everything here. So I realized that last comment came off as a little bit of a dick move on my part. I do apologize. At this point, I'm actually getting a little frustrated watching how badly I was failing at these runs. But like I said, I've died, I've nearly died, I've not close to died, I've been bored to death, I've switched characters. So literally went out and got a different life as far as a character perspective went. And none of it has worked. I don't even think this was the first run I did this day. This was day 5, I want to say it was the 2nd or 3rd. But I had just decided to capture it because that's what I was doing. I was capturing runs, and here we pick up magic attack buff and some health regen. Go ahead, hit the speed boost and the buffs, and in we go. I'm going to stick with our old strategy here of just spamming that earth attack for all it's worth. Not getting any additional elemental boosts, and making sure to keep a very close eye on the health. I'm actually listening more so for the casting sound, that little chime that hits when a monster is about to cast a spell on you. And that's where I'm looking to, you know, pop my potion, get it in before that spell damage hits, especially when the health's down. Now I'm a bit more vulnerable to their attacks, but it can't be understated how much smoother this goes room to room with the Blade Master. I suppose a big part of that is the level difference, but I'm also using Eternity, which is a level 94 weapon, and the damage boost I'm getting from that is not, can't be discounted. Here we're up against 4 Dark Horses again, hit 3 on the initial strike, and then I take a moment to take a ton of damage before hitting again. A lot of times I sort of get locked in my head this Napoleonic combat thought where I don't think I can move while they're casting, and I forget that my skills will start animating while theirs are going. You'll see that a lot in my videos. It's just something that I haven't been able to break myself of. I keep forgetting that I can act when they're acting. I almost turn it turn-based in my own head. Sign of my age, I guess. Still dealing a ton of damage to these guys though, so not a complaint by any means. Here we're going to go ahead, finish off 3 of them and leave the 4th within a strike of death. Finish them off before the casting animation starts. So it drops 2 skulls on us but does no damage. Go ahead and loot these chests. Like I said, we're making pretty good progress through here already. Less than a minute per room. I enjoyed playing the Wave Master on those couple runs I did, but especially if those summons didn't hit right. Those rooms were just taking forever. As it is, this was far more, and again, there were so many runs that I didn't capture, but we're already up over 47 minutes on this video so far. So this kind of shows you the kind of tedium and monotony you may be in for if you're looking for one of these items, but if you want the thing, you gotta go through the process. Or be very, very kind to people who are willing to do it for you. This was a gift from the missus, though. There was no way I wasn't going to farm for this weapon myself. I was certainly thankful on the runs I had help with. I wish I would have captured those. Sadly, just didn't have the wherewithal. The first couple runs I didn't capture because I honestly didn't think this would be great video material. That's probably the most common outcome for me there, where you drop 3 of the Dark Horses and then that one is left with just barely enough hit points to survive. Weird how it seems like just about every room you pick up the Lovers, you pick up the Fool as well. I noticed a couple times picking up the Fool on its own, but I think just about every time I saw the Lovers, I saw the Fool in the same room. Probably a coincidence there, but just a weird thing that popped out to me. There we got that's the good finish there. That's finishing with a flourish, taking all 4 down, and you're standing right in the middle. Bonus badass points on that one before we move on. And now back to my old habit of missing my mark and allowing one of the Dark Horses to completely circle around the encounter. End up running myself out of SP before I hit it once. Here we're near critical again, but we fell 3 of the Dark Horses. And I play a bit more recklessly than I should have, but we luck out there. We get it done, and I'm able to just use my own SP pool to heal my way back. Again, trying not to use those healing elixirs if I don't have to. They're great in a pinch, they're fantastic for healing themselves, but they're expensive. Coming up on 4 more Dark Horses here in the 2nd floor. Got them all down to about half, and they had me down to a third, so it was time to potion up. No point in being foolish about it, and then we get our all four to the floor again. Pick up the moon, and a demon cloak. Moving into this next room here, second verse, same as the first. We get 4 dark horses, and we just start piling damage. Ton of damage back and forth. One thing could be said, these aren't very cerebral matchups. We're just throwing everything we got at each other, the monsters and myself. Get through, pick up our 4 experience. All kind of risky treasures, it seems, on this run. Pick up a stone soleret, the moon, and the levers. So I'm proven wrong there. There was the levers with no fool in sight. In fact, we seem to be picking up the levers and the moon. Moving to the 3rd floor here, getting Riggeem and Apparyo. Apparyo would have really helped me if I had any Thunder Element. Don't know what I was doing there. I think maybe I just was nudging the stick down and held on auto run after the speed charm went into effect. Certainly wasn't planning on leaving. That would have been dumb. Go ahead, finish those guys off. I almost got finished off too. Down to about 124 hit points. Again, even when I'm trying to be cautious, there are just those moments that are too close to call. Sometimes you gotta rely on a little luck, and that was certainly with me on that room. One critical hit could have probably changed that entirely and turned this into another level down scenario. Getting hacked to bits there, and with the Blade Master, them swinging their swords is kind of music to my ears because I know I'm not taking as much damage as I would off of a spell. And I know it's tying them up for a similar amount of time. Finish that battle there. Pick up the Fool out of that chest, and then down by the door, 2 summon fires. Not really sure how many summon fires I've picked up through the course of this video. I would have to think at least 50. Here's the all dungeon portals opened, which again is a refreshing sight no matter how many times you run this. Especially when you get into this area where you get all 4 off. They don't hit you for too much damage, and you drop the 4 dark horses in a row there. Pick up a Virus Core Q before running back down the corridor to disarm a chest. That chest will give us an Artisan's Soul. And now nothing to do but loot the treasure. There it is, BT's wand. Pick up a yellow candy and a recovery drink. Folks, this has been a Grumpy Old Guy Gaming. Thank you very much for watching this special edition of the Weekend Warrior. Just want to take a moment to say, whatever you're celebrating this holiday season, I hope you have a happy and safe holiday. Everybody take care, and we will see you in the next video.